Coming up on Around Town, things get a little batty when Anthony from Eat Local New York tags along for a day.
It's gonna be a fun day in the life.
We've got a tall task ahead with some serious bat guano buildup.
Is this like months or years of accumulation?
Years. This is gonna be years, yeah.
I'm thinking like a really tall garbage plate.
This is Around Town with Town & Country Pest Solutions.
Well, a very big job brings us out to Spencerport today, but it's not only big because of the scale, pretty big because we have a special guest star today. Anthony from Eat Local New York had us out in Skaneateles to try a few of his favorite places. Anthony, now's kind of the time that you see what it's like to work for a pest control company, I guess.
It's gonna be a fun day in the life, or so I've been told.
Now, just to find out what we're gonna be up to, let's chat with Nate. What brings us out here?
Today we've got a full barn clean out. It's been overtaken by all kinds of wildlife, bats being the main one.
Tell me a little bit more about the bat situation. You described it as pretty dense. Tell us, what is the problem here that's accumulated over time?
The big issue here is that we've had buildup of bat guano, just from bats living in there, existing. We don't know exactly how long, but the buildup of the guano at this point becomes hazardous because of how much there is.
Is this like months or years of accumulation?
Years. This is gonna be years, yeah. Yeah, 5 or more, I would say.
About how thick do you think this has compacted?
Like that? About
Wow.
that thick on some of the material in there. As far as the ground, I think a lot of it has been trampled on and been ground down, so it is probably packed down a good bit. But even that in and of itself is a large amount, especially for guano. We're talking about little tiny pieces of droppings that just kind of, add over time. And so that stuff turns into dust essentially. And so when you're in there walking around, you're kicking that up and you're breathing it in, it can be detrimental to your health. And so in order to make this a usable space, we need to clean it out and make sure that it's disinfected.
With all that talk about being cautious, sounds like we got to suit up in some PPE. All right, let's go get suited up.
The task of properly removing, handling, and cleaning of any wildlife excrement is always best left to the professionals with the resources and know-how to do it right. Bat guano specifically, in any amount, poses a major threat to the respiratory health of anyone living close by. Outfitted with full-body Tyvek suits, full-face respirator masks, and layers of rubber gloves, it was time for Anthony and I to check out the barn for ourselves.
It's weird to walk on this much poop. I never thought I would do this in my life, but here I am. I mean, if this was, I don't know, like a chocolate crumble, it'd be pretty, tasty. That's disgusting.
Once the interior was sprayed down with a solution to help limit the amount of guano dust kicked up by activity, our hardy crew got straight to work. And a mess this big requires as much help as we can get.
We're just setting this up. We're gonna walk around and we're gonna clear this out. So you guys can see all this bat poop here, pretty much filled, but we gotta clear everything out so we can shovel all this up.
I think I'd rather eat like the worst restaurant with the worst health inspection rating twice in one day than do this for an entire day. I mean, a lot of respect to these guys, for sure.
Oh, I hear the bat. They're up there, like I said, up there. Dude, look at all of them huddled up. So this is why all this bat poop's right here. They're probably that's their spot, I guess.
A major part of this service was working with the property owner to identify which keepsakes were salvageable, and then sorting through these mementos to power wash and sanitize every item, making sure they were safe for the owner to hold on to for years to come.
This guy either owned a restaurant or decorated a restaurant at one point, because I've definitely seen similar things in restaurants. My favorite is when I'm at a restaurant that has pictures of food on the wall, but it's not their food. You can never go wrong with the celebrity. Classic food critic, a barbecue guy, put their picture on the wall, think I'm in good hands.
With Anthony's help, we were able to make a sizable dent in the workload before he had to head back to his day job.
Couple hours in here, Anthony, you gotta head back to Syracuse. Thanks for coming all the way out here.
Much credit to all of these guys here at Town & Country Pest Solutions. Listen, if you already hire them, if you have them for your restaurant, for your business, for your home, pay them more. It's worth it. This is a tough job. I'm glad I don't have to do this.
Think you've earned your keep? Why don't you go find a nice garbage plate on your way out while we finish up here, all right?
All right,
Thanks, man.
With plenty of work still ahead, our team sunk their teeth into the main course at the bat guano buffet, and that means shooing out the chefs responsible.
So we have to flush the bats out because they're the ones that are making the mess. It makes no sense for us to do all this hard work cleaning everything up if they're just gonna keep making more of a mess.
And as you're feeling it on the ground, this stuff is piled up. Nate wasn't lying, it's pretty thick. We've seen them roosting up there, and there's nooks and crannies that we haven't even gotten to yet. If it's this thick down here, I can only imagine how bad it is up in the areas we haven't even taken a peek yet.
When discussing service options, Nate and the property owner agreed that sealing up every individual potential entry point on a barn of this size and age would be incredibly cost prohibitive. We faced a similar challenge when drawing up an exclusion solution for a mechanical lift bridge on the Erie Canal. Similar to the barn, our service for the lift bridge focused on the cleanup of excrement and agitation, which is a behavioral tactic we use in certain situations to condition a target nuisance. Essentially, the less hospitable we make the environment for these bats, the more likely they'll look for shelter elsewhere. That said, it's very apparent that it's going to take a lot more than just a bit of noise and gentle guidance to shoo these bats away.
All right, back at it, day 2 of our bat guano barn cleanout. Even though we were able to scare off the bat population that was roosting up in the rafters yesterday, they were right back at it this morning, and Nate said that they had left a welcoming back gift. Not as much guano as we first encountered though, which is always a good thing. There's some more stuff that just needs to be taken out of the barn, so that way the guys can get to every nook and cranny to be able to properly apply our DSV treatment. That's disinfectant, sanitizer, and viricide. Make sure everything's properly cleaned up. While those guys are doing that, Ethan is diligently power washing some items that the property owner wants to hang on to. And once that's all said and done, we're gonna do a quick once over on the exterior, see if there's any glaringly obvious entry and exit points, do a little bit of exclusion there. With that all said, let's go on and take a look at what the guys are up to.
The team effort to clear the barn out was no small feat. Each item that was earmarked for preservation was individually cleaned and then thoroughly sanitized with DSV. As for the barn itself, the interior looked drastically different than it had 24 hours prior, and was now ready for its own DSV treatment. This process is crucial for combating histoplasmosis, the airborne disease associated with bat guano. With Nate's finishing touches, the major access points were blocked off, making the barn less attractive for future squatters. The chef's kiss on a recipe for success.
Whew. Well, it's safe to say that I'm pretty glad this one's over. Huge shout out to Anthony from Eat Local New York for coming on out, and another huge shout out to our awesome crew for doing all this cleanup. If you like this video, why don't you check out the time that we vacuumed up some more bat guano from an attic. As always, I'm Matt Miller, and we'll catch you at the next job.